Triple Shot Mindset. So how's it going over there in the big chair? Leader's chair. Leaderboard.
I do feel like a leader of you two.
Oh.
Yeah. Not from a CEO standpoint, but from a mental capacity standpoint, from a reason standpoint, from a logic standpoint.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And it's all good. Everyone has to have a leader.
Yeah. Someone's got to take the lead.
And I'm it.
Yeah. Thank God for you.
Thank you. What about you? What do you cross your arms for? This is like, yeah. See, I need you to be open to my discussions.
I think, against what some people say, this is closed. It just, when I do this, my back feels better than when I do this. I don't know, something with my spine. I feel like I'm supporting it on my stomach, the weight of my back.
Really?
Now, somehow it feels better than when I let go.
Yeah.
You know, it has nothing to do with, well, I'm close to this conversation.
All right. So anyway, you guys know I'm divorced, right?
What?
No shit.
I know. All those dating apps, you know, they kind of alluded to the fact that I'm divorced.
This whole we thought you were cheating.
Well, maybe you were polyamoring it.
I know what that means, but sure.
Multiple.
Oh, multiple.
Yeah. Multiple loves.
As I was laying like a shrimp on my mom's living room carpet.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You got down on the floor?
Yeah, you do that. Like when you're a weakling, you get on the floor.
You don't have the power to sit up straight.
Yeah. When you're emotionally drained and crying and depressed, you take the fetal position.
On the floor.
Like a helpless dog. Right? But then after a week of doing that, you look at yourself in the mirror, like I did, and I asked myself, is this a person you want to be? And the answer was, who else can I be? So I decided to change myself into the person I am today.
Well done.
There were two quotes by my, I don't want to say hero, I don't want to say coach, I don't want to say any of those, but by Tony Robbins. And the first one, after the first week of my divorce, was every rejection is a redirection. And I had to play that over and over again every 2 hours on my phone to understand what had happened to me. Because I was always thinking, why does this happen to me? Why am I this? Why am I that? And then I remembered that he said, everything happens for you, not to you. So I just started listening to that quote over and over again. And another quote I listened to like 3 weeks later was that we get what we tolerate. And to this day, when I'm dating people, I definitely understand what that means. Like I definitely understand what that means. And so having those two things in my head play over and over again, whether I'm trying to deal with my divorce, which is dealt with, by the way, it's done, or going to a new relationship or situationship, I think of those two things. And I think to myself that I'm not looking outside at myself in these situations and now try to make the best decision for me based on not what my needs and wants are, but what would be up to my standards. I'm not going to say this out loud, you know, yada, 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 royalty. My mom found certain photos and documents that show that me and him are princes to some extent. And when I hear things about standards and what we tolerate.
Wait. Back that up. Your mom found certain documents that indicate that. Oh, yeah, sorry. Beep.
Well, my mom came out a few weeks ago.
Dude, and we've known this for years.
I know. I thought
when
she
you
was,
introduced yourself.
I thought she was kidding.
So the story goes, it doesn't go, it's a real fact, that my mother's grandfather was a prince. And back then, it's not like he was the heir to the throne. He was like, the king had like 20 kids, whatever.
So he was one of them.
And this guy was like the last one if everybody else dies. And this guy happens to be
He's a prince.
Okay, so he is a prince by definition.
Of Georgia, not Atlanta.
No, Georgia, the country of
country
Georgia.
north of Iran.
Got it.
And so he was a prince, married my great-great-grandmother. And so there is royal blood flowing through these veins.
You're welcome.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Wow.
So anyway, a few weeks ago, I was like laying on my sofa, and my mom comes over and says, "Hey, why do you look like a shrimp again?" I'm like, "I'm just, a girl I liked, da da da." She said, "Sit up straight. You're friggin' royalty. At least, if anything, play those Tony Robbins things for yourself again." And I started thinking to myself that a lot of these women that I date, great women though, great women, great, perfect. They have certain standards that's inside their core. That's their core standards. On the outside, they say, "Oh, I deserve this. I deserve travel every week. I deserve a man who will treat me like this. I deserve a man who won't kick my ass. I deserve." They say all that on the surface. But once you understand their core standards, and what they're willing to tolerate, you understand just how broken everyone is, including myself. I'm not above anyone else, even though I'm royalty. I don't put myself above anyone else. So if I go into a situationship, a relationship or a date or whatever, with a person who tells everyone, these are my standards, and I go into a relationship thinking these are my standards, and in actuality, they're here or whatever, it's going to create a lot of confusion and a lot of, I guess, animosity in a relationship, because I presented myself as a different person. I presented my standards and my wants and needs and what I'm willing to tolerate at a different level than is actually in my core. So once you peel back the onion and you talk to these women after date 2, 3, 4, you see that the facade they had created in their head and what they think they want is totally different than what the reality is. So my dating advice, I guess, and we were talking about this, about M. Night
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorites. One of my favorites, even though I have no idea how to say his last name. Is M. Night his first name?
M period stands for something. Night is, I believe, either the middle name or one of many names. And Shyamalan. And I will admit, I'm not completely confident on that pronunciation, although that is how I've heard it pronounced. So I'm just echoing the mass consensus.
Well, let's get to your advice. You obviously talk about a movie guy.
So the thing is,
It's all tied in.
M. Night
Shyamalan.
He created those movies, The Sixth Sense,
Yep.
The Village, all those nice movies. Signs. Like one of my favorite movies.
Samesies.
What?
Samesies.
Sure.
Same as me.
Oh.
Thank you.
I thought that was another name of a movie I hadn't heard of. But anyway, he puts his best foot forward. Not saying that
BFF.
his movies suck now, but they just don't.
Like everything for this one is abbreviations. BFF.
Because we've got to
Best
get
foot
rid of
forward.
the English language. We're using too much time and energy.
We are.
And if we could just abbreviate every,
Right.
we're better off.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They're
that's
YG.
abbreviation.
They're YG. There you go.
Yeah, I got it.
So his first few movies were great.
Bangers.
Bangers. Like I would watch all of them over and over again.
Yep. Full of substance, multidimensional. You didn't know it was coming. Totally relevant to the times. Sorry, for those who don't know, we were talking about this earlier. So
M. Night Shyamalan.
I've already got this all inside of
Right.
me.
Yeah.
Back to you.
And now you watch his movies, like
I can't even name. I know he's been releasing
Yeah.
movies and I can't even name them.
because he put his best foot forward in the beginning.
Yeah.
And as time went on, maybe he ran out of good ideas. Maybe he didn't have anything new to add to the matrix. So dating is kind of the same thing. We put out these facades that I'm this, I'm that, I deserve this, I deserve that, I deserve a vacation in the Maldives every 2 weeks. My standards are this, my standards are that. And then once you're in a relationship, you realize that what they presented you with was the best version of a fantasy, and that doesn't really hold true. So you fell in love with the person who fantasized about those things, who pretended they are all that, and as time goes on, it's going to be a little bit of disappointment in both of us because she's not the person I fell in love with, or vice versa. So an idea that we were talking about over coffee, right? Coffee, was that, and this has been Matthew Hussey's one of his videos, is that what if we went into dates, first impressions, as who we are? Stop pretending, I drive this car even though it's a rental. Let's stop pretending this is my standards. Let's pretend, put all that aside and just be your raw self. That's why I talk about being friends first.
Yep. Because
friends don't have to impress each other.
Yep.
Friends don't pretend, they have these weird needs that are just, superficial and Instagram based. So the M. Night Shyamalan, did I say it correctly?
Close enough.
Sure. That's a great example of how you should not put your best foot forward.
This young lady, well, who? I think my as a designer, as a prince, thank you.
As a prince designer, I always believe you have to put your best foot forward.
Yeah. Don't be unrealistic though. Like, I'm not going to claim somebody I'm not, but I still won't have to brush my teeth, wear a nice shirt, comb my hair.
And do you do that on a daily basis?
I do.
Of course you do. So that is who you are. You dress well, you comb your hair, you respect yourself.
But I'm going to probably go a little bit more knowing I'm going to meet somebody new, because I want to show the respect that this is of value to me, meeting you, and I respect you. Therefore, I'm going to put some cologne on. Okay. I'm going to, wash my car just so that I don't look like a homeless slob.
Right.
So I think to some extent you can do that, but to advertise this is who I am, I think is wrong.
Yeah.
I think first dates deserve a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And you're the type of person from where I sit,
who showers daily,
which is pretty much in this spot all the time. Yeah, you're tracking with me. You do this stuff all the time. Like, you believe in showing up respectfully to other people. That's something has remained consistent about you from when I met you over a year ago.
A year and a half.
Every meeting is like the first date. I mean, every meeting has a certain level of respect, a certain level of proprietary.
Well, you're the content writer.
Proprietary.
Preparatory.
And every meeting, you keep it classy. That's your style.
You keep it classy if it was San Diego. Yeah, perfect.
I think that's authentic, Kevin. My thing is, keep it authentic. If it is inauthentic to you to shower, wash your car, be clean, then you're really doing someone a disrespect and being dishonest and duping them by showing up as this clean, super cool person. I've seen people do this all my life, friends and family. Like, they present themselves to the top notch as soon as they know they've snagged the person, married the person, ring on the person. The facade falls away.
Wait. He was saying he's a designer, right?
Yeah.
So as a designer, when he's going to a meeting, he has to look the part. He can't go looking like a slob, right? If he goes to a job interview, the same thing. If he goes to church, whatever he wants to be, he has to dress up for certain occasions, which I'm saying that's okay. But you present yourself as someone you're not, and pretending these are your things you can't tolerate, but then you tolerate.
Yeah, exactly.
Down. Or there's your standards, but then those aren't really your standards.
Yeah.
That would be duping the other person.
Yeah, and yourself. You're duping yourself.
Yeah, so
double whammy.
When I want to say hero or whatever, Tony Robbins, he was talking about,
because you wouldn't call him a hero, you wouldn't call him an idol, a guiding light, inspirational figure. Thank you. Yeah, sort of a mentor.
You account for half of his views, so
that's true. What was it going with? So when he says, what you tolerate is a reflection of, your life. If you really think about that, I know women or men who tolerate a lot of stuff, and they come and they complain. They go, "I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy with my marriage. I'm unhappy with my wife. I'm unhappy with my date. I'm unhappy with this and that." And they're tolerating a lot of bullshit that they wouldn't have otherwise tolerated for themselves or on a first date. But once they get to know this person starts peeling back the onion and, stops showering, starts smoking, starts doing this and that. All of a sudden you see that this person who said, I'm here, is actually here. And that is the biggest turnoff in me. If I see someone is going to tolerate for something or someone who's here, if I see someone who says this is my standard, but is actually here, more of a turnoff if they say my ideal man is XYZ or my ideal woman is XYZ, and they start dating someone and they're not only lower in what you thought they were, but all the habits and all the traits that the woman said it's one of the standards that person doesn't have, then you start thinking to yourself, then who the heck are you?
People do that for need.
Yeah.
Some people do it for need of money. Like the person may have money, but they're like, a low life
Yeah.
with horrible habits, but they'll tolerate it because of money.
Yeah.
So that's a gold digger. Number two, the need. Or silver digger.
Bronze digger.
Well, okay.
Sorry.
You get it? You know what I'm saying?
Copper, by the way, it's going up in price.
The other need is the need to be with somebody, no matter what. And because they did not find the right person, they realize, shit, am I getting old? Nobody wants me. You know what? This guy's good enough for now. I'm going to be with them. And then they feel sorry for them. Like, I can't let them go because they're a drug addict. I can't let them go now. They're drinker. I can't let them go until I get them some help. Then it becomes a project.
Right. So the other thing I noticed in my dating escapades is that there's a cyclical thing about men and women, right? We find someone, I think the right person, wrong timing kind of a thing. You find someone who's great, who has great qualities, but because you're on a dating app and you want to wake up every morning with 12 notifications that 12 new people liked you, that becomes sort of your reason to wake up every morning and check your dating app. So if one person, you happen to be lucky enough to find a person right off the bat who fits all those descriptions, subconsciously you push them aside, you find things wrong with them so that you can go through this routine and every day wake up and see 12 more likes just to feed your issues and have validation. And then I've seen that these women, they come back 6 months later. Hey, remember me? I'm back. I went through my validation phase, my, toxic attachment stuff. And now I'm back. And let's, talk again. And I've seen that happen so many times because they want to go through, they want to learn their lessons, they want to experiment, they want to do everything that they couldn't. And they come back saying, okay, now I'm ready.
They do that in a relationship or just on the app? Or both?
Both. So I know women who are maybe married too young, and they go through this cycle. They go, as I said last time, there's 3 loves. The first love is going to hurt. The second love, you're going to learn from it. And the third one, it's going to last. Okay? So a lot of these people, they were hurt the first love. Now they need the love that's going to teach them something.
Yeah.
They're going to have to learn from it. And so the cyclical thing I'm talking about, they're in the learning phase. They want to, something has to teach them a lesson. Like, these aren't the good people for you. But they want to go through it anyway. And that's fine because I don't want people to have a teaching moment with me. I want them to have the lasting moment with me. So for me, when I see them go through this thing, like they disappear off the radar for 6 months, 8 months, they disappear. They get their teachings, the life teachings, and they come back. Now they're ready for lasting love. The problem with me is, I think once someone says no to me, and I look at them from a different perspective, no longer she's hot. Now I see the issues in their head. I see the issues that are unresolved. And I see the standards that they now have or had during this 6 months of absence. And that kind of diminishes her value in my head. And as Andrew Tate, thank God he's free from jail. Can I hear an amen to that?
Amen.
Amen, yeah. He talks about the value of men and women, right? A man wants a woman who has a little bit of experience, but is not a
hooker.
Sure. And not a body count, runner-upper. And then when I see people go through that learning phase, it makes me think, how many guys have they kissed, slept with in the past 6 months, that they finally got their heart broken again, or they learned something, and now they're coming back to me. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, you don't want to often use dish rag. You don't want to be the recipient of a rag that's been used so many times, gone through this. Okay, now I can have it.
Yeah.
Now it's not worth anything. One thing you said earlier was about dating apps in Iran, for example.
Yeah.
Ever since the invention of the dating app, it's become a hookup machine. Mm-hmm. And this hookup machine has diminished the value of dating, right? So the people that you meet, from all the stories you've told me, they've wanted to sleep with you first date. Otherwise, oh my God, this guy really wants a relationship. Oh shit, I'm out mentality. Because they're not used to, a dating app is for relationship building.
Yeah.
It's more of, how many private parts can I stuff down myself? So when it becomes that, then you cannot look at a dating app as this is a starting point of a relationship. It's a starting point of a hookup. And so some of the girls that you talk about, they are not there mentally to start a relationship. They're there to see somebody, say, hey, you want to go back to my apartment, and that would be that.
I think it's a hookup thing, but it's also a validation, kind of a social media.
That's one
platform.
layer. Well, that's one layer validation. The next is, who can I hook up with for now? I'm not really
of course,
serious.
when they hook up with someone, that's validation. They get validation from some random stranger who says, "Yep, I'm willing to jump in bed with you," which to me, that's why I don't like dating apps anymore.
Didn't some girl break up with you because you were not sexually aggressive right before she had...
Two of them.
Okay.
2 of them. 2 women have said, you're perfect, but we can't be with you because you're not sexually...
After the first date, you should have...
You're not sexually aggressive enough.
Yeah, so what they expected is after they had dinner, that you became this beast and took him down.
Yeah, so one of them wanted to do it in the car. She had a Honda Pilot. And she said, hey, and we were in the middle of there's a LA Fitness right here. There's a Mother's Market, for those of you who don't know. It's like health food store. In that parking lot that we park every once a week and have breakfast.
This morning where we were?
Yeah. She had parked in that parking spot with her Honda Pilot after the first date. And she said, why didn't you take me into my back of my Honda Pilot and just
rail me? Yeah.
Rail me. And to me, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm here to have a relationship. I'm not here to... And to me, she's like, well, it's okay. You can't do that with me, you can do whatever. And she's the one who introduced me to that word.
Yes.
Because she was after the body count thing. That was her validation. It was not, let me build a relationship. Right. Let me have one more tick mark.
Yeah. And the other one, God, I hope she doesn't listen to this.
Even if she does.
She had some...
fibroids?
She had some fibroids. 10 of them. The biggest one was the size of a grapefruit. She showed me the pictures the next day when she took him out. And right before surgery, she said, I'm going to go have my fibroids removed. When you come to my house to see me after my surgery, don't let the thought of me having surgery stop you from being sexually aggressive with me.
And by the way, I've done some research on this subject, so I am the medical expert. If you have fibroids that size and they're growing, you're going to be bleeding all the time. It's like a non-ending period until you're either taken out.
Right.
So for someone to be in that mindset you need to, take me down right now after the first date, even though I am bleeding, even though I'm going to have surgery in 2 days, to have the mentality that how come you're being a gentleman, you should not be one and be aggressive like some sort of a jungle monkey, it becomes like such a turnoff. You
to
like,
me,
what are you
it's a
thinking?
turn off. But there's other guys who would jump on that like there's no tomorrow.
Because those people are after body counts too. It's become such a superficial, look how many I've had mentality.
Yeah.
That this is why you cannot have a relationship with people you meet online.
Right. So the people who come back around, I mean, there's a couple of them that I've tagged in my head. Okay, this one, if she comes around, or the other one, if she comes around, I'll still give him another chance. The other 50, sayonara. But these two, if these two people come around, which they're coming around, I feel like, I would have to redate them. I have to go out with them knowing what I know now, knowing all the standards and all this bullshit that they fed me the first time. Now I'm going to have to redate them, and I'm going to tell them I'm going to have to redate you from scratch as if like we're just strangers, because the information I have now of you and who you are and what you're tolerating and what your standards are is different than the first time I met you.
So if they had been authentic from the beginning, I'm just curious. I'm going to lay out a hypothetical situation and you tell me if it would make any difference. Instead of giving you these standards, if someone just sat in front of you and said, honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to have fun and experience. Are you willing to go down that road with me? Or are you looking for something serious? And if you are, let's just be friends for right now.
Yeah.
Would that have changed?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Authenticity is my language.
Yeah.
Right? The whole talk about, not pretending and not being pretentious and fake standards and all that. If someone would have told me, listen, I'm not ready because these are my baggages, these are my traumas, this is what I'm working through right now. If we take things slow, if we take things this way or that way or whatever, are you down for it? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm down with it. If I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that they come out,
Like, I know what I want.
I know what I
I'm
want.
healed. Here's my list of 50.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I have my thing on this phone. Top 50 non-negotiables, right? And when I asked one of the girls I was dating, I said, what are your non-negotiables? She's like, well, you have to be a strong man. You have to be 5'11" or higher, whatever. You got to have muscles. You got to have definition in your whatever. I'm like, those are not non-negotiable. Those are not things that you should be looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, this shit could melt away in 3 weeks after I have tacos every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't matter. Like, why does the height matter? So she's now working on her non-negotiables list. But I shared my non-negotiables with a bunch of women friends I have. And they're like, wow, oh, that's what I had no idea. And they still ask me, what about the looks? What about the, what she wants in terms of a house or a car? I'm like, you can't take that shit with you, right? Imagine going out with someone who says, my non-negotiable is a house by the beach.
I know people who that's
and
their
why would you want to
non-negotiable.
go out with that person? Why would you want to invest in that person?
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, that's never going to be nourishing to the heart.
To the older gentlemen who have money and don't have the looks, they'll jump on anything.
Who will?
The older
gentlemen
with money.
They'll
with
jump
money.
on anything, or
Absolutely.
women will jump on them?
No,
Well,
both
ways.
I've had women friends out of dating, or I'm dating women, and they said, how old are you exactly? And I told them my age. And they're like, how much money do you make? And I'm like, why does it matter? She's like, because the older you get, I have to have the same amount of money in your bank account, or like equivalent. As you age, you have to have more money in your bank account. And that's the only reason I'll be with you. And once I hear that shit, like, I'm out. So he said, if you're 55, for example, you're going to have 5 million in the bank for me to be able to be with you. If you're pushing 60, you're going to have 10 million in the bank. I'm like, what kind of a sick kind of a formula is this that, for every 5 years, you got to double your life savings? Like, why?
Which fucking online class did these women take that they think this is the formula?
I think I heard Andrew Tate and some of his followers talk about this, that only a fraction of 1% of men fall into that category, right? The other 99% of men, they have regular jobs, they have regular headaches and regular stresses, and they go to a job that they may or may not like. They make 5 or 6 figures at most. They have a house payment, they have this payment, they have a retirement fund. Like they have 99% of the people, but then on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, and all these bullshits, they show the cream of the crop. And that's what the women look at. Oh, look at that guy. He's hot. He has money. He has this and that. And that becomes a reality. So when they go out with a regular guy like me, to them, that's, well, you're a good guy, but I'm still hoping for that fraction of the 1%. And by the time they come around and understand that that's not reality, it's going to be, cold in hell.
Good luck, old hag.
I think there was some kind of research that showed that during the pandemic, the time that people spent on social media that had increased contributed to like divorce rates and separations, because people saw, women in particular, I think, were looking at these fantasies and going like, well, why don't I have that? Like I'm trapped at home. Why don't I have the bigger house and the handsomer baby daddy or whatever? And it just for some people it strengthened relationships, a small unique group, and for many others it like a lot of people went their separate ways. It's like the Disney movie for adults. Like you give kids the Disney movie and you're like, this is how it's going to end up. You're a princess, you'll get swept up by a prince.
Another thing I read or listened to on a Tate show or some one of those guys, he said that only 20% of men are responsible for having sex with 80% of the women. Okay, 20% of men are responsible for having sex with 80% of the women.
How did they figure that one out?
I don't know. But I mean, they go off of statistics on dating apps, right? How many of guys really get swiped right on, which is good, right? And how many women get swiped right on? And even if you are on a scale of 1 to 10, you're number 5 as a woman, you still have a chance to get swiped right on by a nice guy. But if you flip the table, the guy who gets swiped right, if it's a 5, it's never gonna happen. 6, never gonna happen. 7, you start seeing that. 8, you gotta like really have a few pictures with a yacht or a Lamborghini, or a few Tony Robbins quotes on your website or on your profile for them to. And then the 9s and 10s, everyone's like, one of the shows I was watching, he showed his inbox for Hinge, and it was so many numbers on the notifications that he's like, look, this is me. And like the guy who was like running the show, he took out his Hinge, it was 0, right? And it's just this diluted, weird, unrealistic expectation of women that guys who have millions of dollars, who have the good looks, they're taller than 6'1", they're this and that, they're bodybuilders, whatever, those guys are the norm. And the reality is it's not. And when this guy was showing his Hinge with like 99 plus notifications, he's going, nope. They're desensitized. Like if in high school a girl looked at me who was cute, even a 5 or 6, I would my heart would go boom, 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 boom. Oh my God, a girl's looking at me. Let me go talk to her. Let me take her out for lunch or dinner or whatever. But that has changed. Like people like desensitized towards other people. Like, nope, no. I was one of those people. Like at first when I got Bumble, no. And it got to a point that after 250 swipes, it said, are you sure you have your criteria correct? Because the number of swipe no's in the first like 20 minutes is like ridiculous, 250.
That's why you find a good girl at church.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you stories about that, but let's not go there. In closing, wrapping it all up, take us home.
Take you home? I was taking you home for the past 25 minutes. What are you talking about?
Authenticity is the key to a successful relationship, starting with the first date.
Yeah. I'd say don't put on your best foot forward on the first one. I'm not saying don't shower, don't shave, don't, pluck your eyebrows, whatever. Do whatever, but go in it as an authentic self, like you're meeting a friend. If you go in with like, I'm meeting a friend, I'm just going to be honest with them. I'm going to be like, I'm not going to be rude, but I'm going to be honest with them with my expectations and my, job that I hate and everything else. Then that person can connect with you. If I go out with a girl and she says, well, I want to be an actress and I need to be on a yacht every other day, then there's going to be a huge disconnect. So be yourself, be authentic. I'd rather you save your best for 5 days from now, because anytime you can elevate yourself later on in a relationship, it's always a plus. But if you start declining as the dates go on, then that's going to be disappointment.
Triple Shot Mindset.